Right to Control has been worthwhile because people's lives have been changed and transformed because of it. And we've seen many, many examples where disabled people have entered employment, have used their Right to Control funding for innovative and creative ways of delivering activity that impacts on their everyday lives that they simply wouldn't have done without Right to Control.
Being able to demonstrate working in what I call true co-production, the whole way through we've worked with our partners, with service users.
They were going to be the ones that were saying this is what we want it to be, this is the ambition that we have for it.
It was important that we had a common tool that was accessible for everybody, and having service users in that design supported us with ensuring that we got something that was fit for purpose.
We constantly heard from disabled people locally that they were sick of having to fill out the same forms for different organisations, having to share their information, and so it was a real practical chance to try and make things a little bit better for disabled people locally.
So that the customer has actually felt that they've only had to tell their story once. They felt that everybody's been working together.
It's extraordinary for me how different elements of public sector who probably would have known each other but probably not talked to each other have suddenly had conversations.
The real benefits of working in partnership with ecdp and Department of Works and Pension and the various district councils that we were working with has been really about being able to break down the barriers to silo working.
And it was really great to work with colleagues over at Job Centre Plus and in other areas to think about things slightly differently, to listen to what it was that disabled people locally wanted to do. The Right to Control was an opportunity to say, we don't need to send two people out and do the same thing. Perhaps if we can combine that and get them to work together, then that was a real chance for places like Essex County Council to use their resources as well as they possibly could.
Right to Control has given the framework in which these individuals have come together to think through with the disabled person the solution to issues impacting on their lives.
There's a really important lesson there from Right to Control about how we can look at the resources that we have and make the most of them, as well as making sure that we're doing what it is that disabled people want and therefore make everything better. It's a classic more for less situation. We wanted to take the opportunity of being a Right to Control trailblazer, actually only one of 7 places in the whole country, and trying to make the most of that opportunity. So I think what ecdp brought was that ambition and a real sense of drive to see if we could make the most of the opportunity that Right to Control brought us here in Essex.
I think there have been many lessons to learn from the Right to Control programme, and fundamentally it's about disabled people being right at the forefront of decision making in the whole programme.
Disabled people would constantly tell us that they always felt that they were just recipients or beneficiaries.
In many cases, the discussions with disabled people have always taken place after decisions are made, and that's very tokenistic. In actual fact, the way we set this programme up is that before any item comes to the programme board, it has to go through a level of scrutiny, and they say, from a disabled person's perspective, this is what I want to see, this is what it should include.
So it was a real chance to rebalance the way in which disabled people receive support and their role within it, so it recognised them as people that could make equal contributions. Although the Right to Control Trailblazer from a practical point of view finished in December 2013, there are lots of things that we've done because of the Trailblazer that I think will carry on. So in terms of partnership relationships with places like Essex County Council, even though we had a really good relationship, it's got much stronger.
We've broken down the barriers around the way in which people work. They know who everybody is, and we've got a programme in place to ensure that we keep up to date as staff move.
I think the other thing that it's done is it's shown what's possible. So we've got lots of things coming up, so the introduction of personal health budgets, the integration agenda, and what Right to Control has done has said, this is actually possible for us to be able to do this. And so it provides that ambition and something that we can aim for in all the things that we need to do together in the future.
I think the legacy from Right to Control will be not directly to do with disabled people, although they will benefit in the future, but I think it is the partners, the organisations, the public sector organisations, the user-led organisation, who will continue to have a level of conversation, who will continue to understand that if you are making decisions about people, that you centrally involve those people in the decisions. I think right to control has been used to demystify some of the assumptions that people make around disability, because at the end of the day it leads to better decisions and higher quality outcomes for those individuals.